You're just seconds away from our exclusive one-on-one interview with Ben Franklin. As you listen to his words, keep in mind that the very ideas he shares are ones he spent years developing and perfecting. These are the tools that enabled him to become a successful business owner, admired public servant, loyal patriot, effective diplomat, humanitarian, respected scientist and inventor, and so much more. And they're the same time management tools that will empower you to accomplish far more in your personal and professional life. Shortly after, Ben also reveals the universal truth that literally changed his life and will change yours forever. Now it's time to listen and learn from one of America's most revered patriots and one of Time's most respected allies.
Hi. This is Dan Strutzel, Vice President of Publishing here at Nightingale Conant, and you're in for a very special treat today, as am I. With me is the legendary Mr. Ben Franklin, one of the founding fathers of our great country. Mr. Franklin is a noted author and printer, satirist, political theorist, politician, scientist, inventor, civic activist, statesman, and diplomat. As a scientist, he invented the lightning rod, bifocals, the Franklin stove, and the carriage odometer, among many other things. He formed both the first public lending library in America and the first fire department in Pennsylvania. He is truly one of the most revered figures in American history. But there also may be many things you don't know about Mr. Franklin. We hope to reveal some of those in our interview today. Let's get started. Well, Mr. Franklin, it's an honor to be with you today. You've accomplished so much in your lifetime. You've been a successful businessman, a public servant, a scientist, a writer, and even a humanitarian. And you're also a great role model for others to look up to and to emulate. And today you've agreed to share with us the powerful secrets that enable these successes. Is that right?
Well, it's my true pleasure to be able to share everything with you today. I know that I can be of help to those who want to succeed in life and to those who are willing to do what it takes to get to that success. Because success in anything is not about talk, it's about action. With that in mind, I plan to share the exact same techniques and skills and strategies that I developed and used throughout my life. They have served me well, and I believe they can help others.
Now, before we get started, can you please tell us about your family background and your early years, Mr. Franklin?
Surely, but first, please call me Ben, as many of my friends and family do.
Will do.
I was born in Boston, Massachusetts, on January 17th, 1706, and I was one of 17 children of my father. My father was Josiah Franklin, a candle and soap maker in Boston. My mother's name was Abaya, and her family name was Folger.
What about your formal schooling? Did you receive formal education or did you attend college?
I went to grammar school at age 8, as my father considered that I should have a career with the church. However, I learned to read well before my 8th birthday. In fact, I don't remember any time when I could not read. My grammar school lasted for about 1 year, by the end of which I had been promoted to the top of the class. I was supposed to continue my schooling and go to college, but sadly the expense proved too great for my father, especially because we had such a large family. So instead I was enrolled in a school for writing and arithmetic. At writing I did quite well, but I failed at arithmetic. I was somewhat ashamed of this and corrected this failing through self-study later in life. In fact, this self-study proved quite successful, and I gained a good grasp of figures. Indeed, my old friend John Adams thought that I sometimes placed too many figures in my grasp, but that's a discussion for another day.
Okay. Well, when did you start working?
When I was 10 years old. My father took me into his business as a candle and soap maker, a trade I disliked immensely, but I kept at it for 2 years. When I was 12, I began my search for other career possibilities. I wanted to go to sea, but my father was strongly against this. So, to prevent me from running off to see the world, he helped me to find another trade that I might find more agreeable. Yet none of the many trades that we considered appealed to me either. From childhood I had a great love for books, and any little bit of money that I had was spent to buy them. So, in light of my early passion for books and reading, my father finally determined that I should go into the printing business. Since my brother James was already a printer, my father arranged for me to go to work for my brother as an apprentice. This arrangement called for me to work for James until I was 21 years old. This seemed perfect, as now I would have access to a better collection of books, rare treasures which were not widely available at the time.
Now, it's interesting. How did it work out as an apprentice to your brother?
Initially, things went quite well. Pretty quickly, I gained proficiency and soon proved quite useful to my brother. I also started to improve my skill at writing, a skill which proved to be of great value throughout my entire life. My brother encouraged my writing, as he thought it might somehow contribute to additional business for his print shop. I also developed a method to dramatically improve my writing skills in a short amount of time. This learning method allowed me to master other skills as well, but I'll explain more about that later. Ultimately, I became dissatisfied with the way my brother treated me under his apprenticeship. However, an opportunity eventually presented itself, and that enabled me to end my contract with James well before my 21st birthday. Although my decision would cause hard feelings between James and myself, I decided to grasp at this independence. And because of those hard feelings, my brother made it impossible for me to work for any other printing shop in Boston. So, at the age of 17 years, with very little money and without recommendations or business contacts, I set out to seek my fortune. Finally, I ended up in Philadelphia and secured a printing job there.
Now, eventually you started your own print shop business, is that right?
Yes, that is correct, though the path to getting there was neither short nor direct. It took 3 years before I was able to open my own print shop in Philadelphia. During this time, I continued to work diligently, improving my skills in printing. I did this both in Philadelphia and later in London, England, where I lived for almost 2 years. I returned to Philadelphia in 1726, and soon thereafter an offer was made, by way of a friend, to provide financing to start my own print shop. This arrangement made good sense, and I accepted. This seems the perfect time to share some of the crucial discoveries that I made that became the cornerstone of my success philosophies and systems, may I?
Oh, yes, please.
On my ocean voyage from London back to Philadelphia, I set down a code of morals or ethics to follow. I concluded that truth, sincerity, and integrity in dealing with others are of the utmost importance to finding happiness in business and in life. This philosophy is the essence of what I call my plan of conduct, a plan that I developed when I was only 21 years of age. To achieve these objectives, I decided to practice, and develop continually, the good habits of industry, frugality, and constant self-improvement.
That's fascinating. Would you say that it was your plan of conduct, as you call it, and the work ethic that are responsible for your success?
Partly. It turns out that my moral philosophy and work ethic were meant to work side by side with something infinitely more powerful. Please allow me to explain. As I mentioned a moment ago, I had already established a plan that would be of great value in my dealings with people and in my approach to my work. At about this time, I had a most amazing realization, or perhaps it was heavenly intervention. Whatever caused this awakening, I do not know. But I observed a universal truth, and, had I not had this profound revelation, success would most assuredly have eluded me. I became thoroughly convinced that the most powerful instrument of success which a person may command is his time, and I am grateful to have discovered this early in my life, in time for me to be able to use it to my fullest benefit. You may wonder why I feel this way about time. Well, here are my reasons. First, time is the one thing that, when lost, can never be recovered. Second, time is necessary to achieve all else in this world. Third, for most people, time is their most squandered and most wasted resource. The full value of time is something that they never fully understand or appreciate. Quite literally, time is money. Time is life. Therefore, time must be considered the most precious thing that we own. Yet, the wonderful thing about time is that we have total and complete control over how it is used. We can decide to apply our precious time to being productive, or we can watch it evaporate like the dew from a morning flower. To master time is to take full and deliberate control over your entire life. It's our choice, and so I resolve to be the master of my time.
Now you have a better sense of exactly who Ben Franklin was and how he was able to achieve so much in his lifetime. By laying a solid foundation consisting of his principles, time management strategies, and work ethic, every new endeavor he pursued was guaranteed to be finished on time and on point. In just a second, you'll have the privilege of learning Ben Franklin's complete time management system. Once you implement this proven system in your own life, you'll be able to get far more done while actually working far less. And as if that's not enough, he will also introduce his method for juggling many projects at once. Using this proven method practically guarantees that all of your priorities are completed successfully and on time. You've heard the Army recruitment campaign, "We do more before 9 a.m. than most people do all day." Get ready to learn more from the man who does more in a day than most people do all week.
After coming to this realization that you talked about here, about the value of your time and the decision to master your time, what did you do specifically?
Well, it became clear that I must squeeze the most possible value from every minute of every day. So I committed not to waste a single minute of my time. My first step was to develop a method to properly account for my time, a method which would allow me to focus exclusively on those things of great importance each day. To do this, I created a paper form to keep track of my time and to ensure that I use my time optimally. Each morning, I list out and prioritize the tasks that must be accomplished that day. If I have appointments scheduled, I add those to the form as well. Then, I start my day, working industriously to complete my tasks in the order of priority that I assign to them. Please take note of my use of the word industriously. I use it to demonstrate that any task which earns a place on my priority list must be pursued with enthusiasm and energy until it reaches its complete and proper conclusion. Also, I'm quite strict with myself. I do not consider a task complete until the final result required has been accomplished. This, I think, requires more explanation. Sometimes a large task has many individual pieces, smaller tasks that together form the whole job. For example, when printing a book, I may need to send printed pages to the bookbinder for finishing. That is the smaller task. The larger task is to print and deliver the book to my customer on a certain date. Once I've printed the pages, a new task is created. It is also a child task of the larger project. The newly created task is have bookbinder bind pages into volumes. I cannot consider the main task completed until all the child tasks are completed as well. So, in this example, the child task is not completed when I deliver the pages to the bookbinder, but completed only when I receive the finished books. And that ultimate task requires that I also keep track of the bookbinder's progress and agreed-upon delivery schedule. Whenever a task is fully completed, I cross it off my list of prioritized tasks. At the end of the day, I assess how I fared in completing my tasks. Anything I was not able to complete is added to the next day's schedule. In this way, my entire day is planned out, and I have accounted for all important tasks, and I have accounted, most importantly, for all of my time. Managing my time this way has proved both simple and effective. This approach also demonstrates the difference between motion, which is work without results, and a genuine action-oriented work ethic.
I see how this approach relates back to your work ethic of industry, frugality, and constant self-improvement. But would you explain how you perceive the meaning of these words? I sense a deeper meaning than the words by themselves seem to convey.
Well, industry relates to making a conscious effort to perform tasks diligently, with enthusiasm and determination. The word embodies the saying that any job worth doing is worth doing well. And to me, it also means being aware of and open to new opportunities that may present themselves during the day. For example, in anything that I observe, I ask myself, is there some way I can apply this newly observed bit of information, this newly revealed fact, to the task at hand and create something completely new and profitable? Constant self-improvement is fairly direct. I actively seek out new ideas to consider, new methods to test, and new skills to learn and master. This process makes me a more valuable human being, and it gives me the opportunity to serve others and myself with greater confidence, broader vision, and a greater depth of experience. To most people, frugality simply means being careful or economical with money. To me, it means much more. Being frugal is a state of mind. It requires that one be aware of achieving successful results while expending the least amount of resources. Certainly, resources include money, goods, and supplies, but more importantly, the resource with which one must be most frugal is time. I started to share some of my time management methods a few moments ago, and shortly I'll show you how my frugality with time delivered extraordinary results.
Well, that would be great. I appreciate you explaining the depth of those principles. I'd like to continue with time management once again, please, if we could. Tell me, does your time management plan also allow for leisure time? And most importantly, does this system completely keep your time under control?
Leisure time is most definitely included in my planning. I believe leisure to be very, very important, though leisure should never be confused with sloth or laziness, because laziness is something I feel is a waste of valuable time. In my leisure hours, I seek to do things that are enjoyable, yet also serve a higher purpose. My leisure activities include activities that enhance the mind, the body, or the spirit, and are both productive and enjoyable. On the other side of the coin are bad habits, like sleeping late into the afternoon. I believe this to be lazy and wasteful, and therefore a poor use of one's time. As for your question about whether my system was able to keep my time under control, the answer is yes, absolutely yes. However, I still thought this insufficient to get the most value from my time.
Why is that? Can you explain what you mean?
The problem is that each day places only 24 hours at my disposal. This limitation, I thought, might make it impossible to become a person of significant accomplishment. After all, there was so much I had in my mind that I had to do. So I became determined to explore ways to multiply the amount one could accomplish in each and every hour. I wondered, would it be possible to get 2 days' work accomplished within a single day? And, if so, would it be possible for 3, 4, or even 5 days of work to be accomplished in a single day? In my mind, I imagined that in the way $1 can be leveraged to command the buying power of $10, it might also be possible for 1 hour to command the power of 10. Fortunately, I discovered a formula for delivering this stretching of time, within my existing inventory of knowledge, skills, and abilities. In fact, the solution is rooted quite solidly within my long-standing work ethic trinity: industry, frugality, and constant self-improvement. Now, all I need to do is put this additional element, along with my time management system, into action on a consistent basis. As you would expect, I wasted no time in implementing this program.
Let me see if I understand this correctly. First, you developed a very simple but effective way to get priority tasks completed and to make sure you got the greatest result from each minute of your time. And then you actually discovered a way to stretch the number of productive hours each day. Your discovery expands the 24 hours we're all given each day to achieve 2, 3, even 4 times the normal results?
As remarkable as this may seem, yes, that is correct.
Wow.
Every person is handed 24 hours a day, and if you rely solely on your own physical abilities, that's all you can expect to ever have. I do not propose to change nature. What I do propose, however, is to leverage my time so that many of the things that I have to get done occur without my physically having to lay a hand on them at all. Perhaps an example will make this clear.
That'd be great.
I mentioned earlier that I had developed excellent writing skills. Plus, I had an ability to present and sell my ideas to others so that they accepted my point of view. Building these skills was part of my desire for constant self-improvement. I learned, developed, and refined those skills using a method of my own invention, a method for quickly learning things. And this system applies to learning just about anything. But I'll share more of that method in a moment. First, let me continue with my example of leveraging time. It occurred to me that one way I could leverage my time was to combine 3 skills that would save me from having to make needlessly time-consuming face-to-face contacts with others. So, instead of setting off on my own, I would create thousands of invisible, industrious, and inexpensive helpers to spread my ideas. These helpers would allow me to preserve my own time and apply it more productively. The 3 skills I combined were writing, selling and convincing, and printing. I would publish a flyer, or a letter, or a newspaper article, which I had written and which expressed my point of view. The result was that my writing often built strong support for my ideas and drew my unseen readers to my point of view. This became a standard tool whenever I wanted to raise awareness or get people thinking a certain way. And so it was by writing and publishing, by creating many Ben Franklins, that I had in fact expanded the number of hours that I could use to work on other priority tasks. This system alone brought significant business to our print shop and provided support for many important public projects. In this way, my writing was a means to an end.
Naturally, we've saved the best for last. In the final part of this exclusive interview, Ben Franklin shares with you one of his proudest inventions that most people don't even know about. It's his own Franklin method that enables you to learn and master new skills almost automatically. You'll also learn about Ben Franklin's proven system for building an effective network of allies who will help you to pursue your goal as if it was their own. And lastly, this accomplished hero leaves you his legacy, handing you the secret to achieving absolute mastery in anything you set forth. Enjoy the last few minutes you'll share with Ben Franklin as he guides you to master your own time management as well as your own life.
Ben, you mentioned a system you had devised that enabled you to develop and improve your writing skills and your skills of winning over others to your point of view. Can you share the system?
I'd be delighted to share this quick-learn method of acquiring a new skill. Though I think it's important for me to point out that any and all of the skills that I accumulated were best used when they supported my fundamental goal of getting as much accomplished with my time as is humanly possible. To this end, I would always seek out new skills, tools, or actions that would serve this critical driver of my success. My learning system is comprised of only 3 steps, but do not be fooled into thinking that something so compact cannot be effective. The process is simple and works quickly, but it requires dedication and consistency of action to deliver the most acceptable results. The 3 steps to learning, according to the modestly named Franklin method, are: Step 1. Identify an expert who is already proficient in the skill that you wish to acquire. This expert would be someone whose work you greatly admire and whose style and methods you aspire to match. Step 2. Imitate the master you've identified in Step 1. Do this by studying his or her work, dissecting and internalizing that work in order to gain a true understanding, and then reproduce that work on your own. Step 3. Practice imitating the master until you've achieved your own mastery of the desired skill. This method works. For example, when I wished to write in the style of a certain daily journal, The Spectator, I applied that very same formula. I studied the writing and summarized the articles. Later, I would try to rewrite the articles word for word from memory, using only my summary as a hint. Then I compared my writing to the original, discovered my mistakes, and corrected them. Eventually, I accomplished my goal. I had acquired the writing style of this publication that I had so admired. I used the same method again when I wished to improve my skills at bringing others around to my point of view. Only this time I modeled myself after the Greek philosopher Socrates. And once again, my use of this method proved successful. It is my firm belief that this means of acquiring new skills will work for most anything and anyone. This, of course, assumes that the proper attention is given to all 3 steps of the process, especially Step 3. For without practice, one can never truly gain mastery.
And aside from the skills you've already mentioned, is there any other thing that has contributed greatly to your success?
You mean other than my skills at flying a kite?
Yes. Yes, sir. Other than that.
Yes, there is. Friends. One of the most valuable resources I possess is a solid group of loyal friends. Friendships are another example of how to leverage one's time, as your friends become willing emissaries on your behalf. It is my friends who routinely bring new business to my shop, and who recommend my services and abilities to others. They also alert me to new and profitable opportunities and warn me when potential trouble might be headed my way. When a customer is referred to me, it usually takes very little work for me to close the sale. Why? Because I've already proven myself to someone that the potential new customer trusts, whose opinion they value greatly. My friend's recommendation saves me the effort and the use of my time in having to locate and actively sell to the new customer. I've already established a good reputation through my work ethic, my ability to keep commitments, and by dealing honestly and fairly with others. And because I have already established a good reputation, there is nothing else to prove. It has also been my experience that having friends attracts new friends. Soon you may find that you've created a vast web of friends and friends of friends. This demonstrates the value that a good reputation brings. However, I'm quite confident that building a fine reputation would not have been possible without my ability to manage my time effectively.
Any suggestions that you have then for building a circle of loyal friends?
From a business perspective, you are known by your reputation. So, it is important that you actually become the person that matches the reputation. If you want to be known as highly competent, as an expert in your profession, then you must be confident. You must become an expert. Then, do not be afraid to show that expertise. Once you do this, people will take notice and seek you out. This is how you begin to establish a circle of business friends and relationships. Building on my reputation is how I attracted lots of new business to my print shop. I won numerous government contracts and was considered for important political appointments.
Well, Ben, we've covered a lot of ground in today's discussion, and you've enlightened us by graciously sharing the details of the strategies and practices that enables you to accomplish so much. Before we conclude our interview, would you please give us a summary review of all the success strategies you've shared?
It will be my pleasure.
Thank you.
My philosophy on success boils down to these 5 steps. Number 1, we must recognize that the most precious thing any person has is his or her time. Time is money. Time is the stuff of which life is made, and time must be cherished, used for productive purposes, and always with frugality. Number 2, set down a set of rules and list of goals that you wish to attain in your life. This will provide a blueprint or roadmap for you to follow so that you do not lose your way. Recall my plan of conduct and my fundamental principles of industry, frugality, and constant self-improvement. Also, be open-minded in making adjustments to your plan as your circumstances change or as the world around you evolves. Number 3, work diligently, with enthusiasm and commitment, on any task that you undertake. This work ethic will bring you well-deserved recognition and enable you to establish a good reputation in the eyes of those who come to know you. When you gain people's trust and admiration, they will heartily recommend you to others, and this will bring many new opportunities your way. Number 4, use my time management system to focus on your priority tasks and work them to a proper conclusion. This system provides a structure for keeping track of your time and prevents you from wasting it on unimportant activities. Do not ever fool yourself into confusing motion with action. A task is only completed when the end result has been fully achieved. Therefore, real action toward achieving concrete goals is the only thing of consequence. Number 5, whenever and wherever possible, apply leverage techniques to expand the yield of every hour of each and every day. I accomplished this by using my writing and publishing skills to pre-sell my ideas. You can take similar actions. Continually develop new skills and methods for getting greater results from your time. Acquire new skills by using the Franklin method. Identify an expert, imitate the expert, and practice until you achieve mastery. Following these 5 philosophies with diligence, enthusiasm, and perseverance will most assuredly take you down the path of great accomplishment.
Thanks for that summary, Ben. Ben, if I may call you Ben.
Certainly.
It's been an honor to be with you today. Thank you for being with us.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you very much. I've got to run off now and see Mr. Jefferson about a little document he wants me to peek at soon.
This is Dan Strutzel again, and I hope you enjoyed our interview with Ben Franklin. One of the reasons that Mr. Franklin was able to create and develop all of his inventions, follow through on his great ideas, and be such a force in American politics was attributed to his tireless work ethic. Franklin created a set of philosophies, systems, and habits that helped him to achieve seemingly anything and everything he set his mind to. I'd like to share with you his set of simple and very straightforward tenets he used to guide his actions. Franklin called these 4 affirmations his plan of conduct. It's said he created this plan while on an ocean voyage in 1726 when he was just a young man, only 21 years old. He followed these ideals throughout his life. First, I pledge to be extremely frugal so I may always repay whatever debts I owe. Second, I always tell the truth, never make promises I can't keep, and be sincere in everything I say or do. I believe this to be the most agreeable and decent way for an intelligent person to behave. Third, I'm determined to diligently and energetically pursue anything I undertake. Furthermore, I won't allow myself to be distracted from my goals and responsibilities by any foolish project or get-rich-quick scheme, because diligence, persistence, and patience are the best ways to succeed. And fourth, I will never speak badly of anyone, even if it's the truth, and I will always look for some way to excuse the faults of others. And whenever possible, I will share all the good things I know about everybody. This plan of conduct is as applicable for you today as it was to Franklin during his lifetime. Use these timeless principles for yourself today, and you'll be just amazed at what you can achieve.
That concludes our interview with the father of time management, Benjamin Franklin. Now, it's doubtful that there will ever be another person who accomplished as much in a single lifetime as Ben Franklin did. But now, you have the tools, the guiding principles, and the personal management system to get a lot more done in a lot less time. By simply leveraging your time better, you'll realize greater results at the same time that you reduce your stress. And the best part, you'll find more time for what matters most in your life, your children, your family and friends, and your personal passions. If you wish to improve your career and financial outlook, or if you simply want to learn to communicate more effectively, you'll find more mini-courses at improveyourself.com. At improveyourself.com, you'll find many free resources you can use to improve your wealth, health, career, relationships, and much more.